Mr. Graves, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Admiral, thank you very much for being here. First issue, in August of 2016, the Coast Guard proposed a final rule for TWIC card readers at certain facilities adjacent to waterways. We had strong concerns that we spoke about in this committee room. We had subsequent follow-up meetings with the Coast Guard on that, and we are seeing inconsistent guidance coming out of the Coast Guard to some of these facilities. And just to give you a little background, I think you know this, but you have a number of facilities that may have maritime access or maritime component, but that can be a very minor component of a much larger facility. Yet you are requiring TWIC card readers at the entire facility. These can be costly. Some of the information or guidance on securing some of the private information related to this has not been provided to some of these facilities. And I'll say it again, that the Coast Guard indicated to us in this room and indicated to us in meetings that this would be delayed and sort of probably some stakeholder engagement, maybe looking at some tweaks to it. So now we're in a situation where August of this year is implementation. All these facilities have been operating under the assumption for the last several months that there was going to be some type of change or revoking this rule while folks thought through it a little bit more. And now we're getting inconsistent guidance on whether or not this is going to actually apply in 2018 of this year. Can you give me a little bit of an update on what we should be telling our constituents?
Yes, thank you.
Would you mind going close to the microphone?
I'm sorry, sir. The Coast Guard is working in support of DHS, who's the regulatory lead on the effort. We are well aware of the confusion that when the final rule was published this summer with regard to extent of applicability, and particularly the concern no opportunity to comment. And so we are working with DHS to ensure that we provide that the clarity that's been sought by your constituents.
All right, so it's March now. We're talking about August. That's 5 months. And some of these potential changes to comply with the rule, candidly, would probably take a year of construction, in some cases maybe even longer. These are, and I know you're aware, we have all these chemical facilities along the Mississippi River between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, one of the largest industrial corridors in the world, and all of them have been operating under the assumption that this was going to be pulled back because that was the signal that we were all given. And so we have strong concerns with the certainty and the ability of these facilities to even comply. And again, we really need to know what to tell them to do at this point. I don't think it's fair, quite frankly, to come in and say, well, no, actually, we're going to leave it in place as it was before, because I think we all acknowledge that the ability to comply with it probably was a little bit too challenging for some facilities based on how they're laid out. I'm really just looking for some guidance on what we're supposed to tell them, and what would you do if you were a plant or some other type of facility adjacent to one of these waterways right now?
Yes, sir. I understand the need for clarity. Again, we're working within the rulemaking process at DHS diligently to provide better clarity and certainly for certainty for the entities impacted by that rulemaking, sir.
All right. Well, I'm going to say it one more time that you can't comply with it at this point. You can't. Most of these places don't have enough time, and if this is a problem at DHS or somewhere else, I really would appreciate you all helping us identify where the challenge is, because it's just not fair. There was an opportunity for stakeholder input, and it's not fair at this point to come back and say, well, we're just going to leave the previous rule in place and apply in 5 months. So I appreciate you taking that back. If you want to talk to us offline about where we should be directing our phone calls or other things, I'd appreciate that.